disorder is habits that affect somebody's like eating, whether it be binging or restricting from eating.
It's when a person has issues with his or her eating habit, like it's not normal in a sense.
I think from, what I know, an eating disorder is having, in my eyes, having an uncomfortable relationship with food. So whether that's, not eating enough or eating too much, or just in general kind of having like an overwhelming anxiety whenever it comes to the idea of like food and eating.
It's a disorder. It's a disorder in which like someone will like not eat or like go long amounts of time without eating, or like force himself to like grow up, or
Like eating compulsively.
I know being anorexic is one that's when you have stopped eating for a very long time and you are very underweight for your just for yourself and the weight that you're supposed to be at. And then I think like bulimic is like when you're very underweight, and it's probably a sickness also that is just not, it's like probably one of the worst ones.
Absolutely not.
Anorexia is people who pretty much don't eat. Bulimia is people who binge eat and then purge. There's, I can't name them right now.
Well, I think binge eating is definitely an eating disorder. Maybe obesity could be. I'm sure if that's anorexia and obesity are eating disorders, I would say.
Anorexia, which is where you're terrified of gaining weight. Bulimia, which is where you binge eat and then you purge it. Binge eating disorder, which is just you're obsessed with like overeating. And then EDNOS, eating disorder not otherwise specified, which is one that can't fall specifically strict enough into the other categories.
I'm gonna say a good amount, probably 2 and 5 or something.
I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but I would guess whether or not it's diagnosed as an eating disorder, that at least like 40% of college students have some kind of behavior that's like altered with their eating pattern.
I would say, if we're doing like an in 10 kind of thing, I would say 4 in 10.
Like 75%.
If I had to guess, I would say maybe more than 50%. And I would say more so for women than for men, but I know equally they affect both, so.
In terms of percentage, I'd say 90.
I think it's partially just genetics, but I think mostly has to do with like the psychological aspect of a person.
Definitely insecurity would be my number one guess.
Probably just society in general, in the whole impact it has on people's perception of body image?
Stress. Your environment, like what's going on in your brain, I guess.
I think an eating disorder can come from anywhere from, like, obviously the media is a huge influence for people, but also just people's families. I've heard people say, like, their parents are like, oh, you need to start losing weight.
I think it's just magazines, TV, like media. I think they don't focus on them enough. I think they make them seem bad, like, I don't know, like bad, I guess.
I haven't seen it portrayed that much in the media. I mean, they definitely glorify certain body types, so they don't portray, I think, quite as much like eating disorders as they portray things that might then lead to them. So they don't really take any accountability for it. They don't portray them, I would say.
I feel like that's really complicated because the media is talking about how, oh, eating disorders are bad, but then they shame you if you don't fit the stereotype, and then they like glorify people that have eating disorders, but they're like, oh, but don't do it though. But like look like this though. It's confusing.
In certain movies and stuff, I think they portray it in a light that's like, oh, it's not so bad, even though it's a very horrible thing that someone can do to their body, and like it wrecks their health. But I don't think the media portrays it in the exact way that it actually affects people.
Not well. I'm not sure.